clase con Partnership Realty. Hoy es conmigo Patricia de Pioneer Mortgage Funding, uno de los lenders que estamos aquí in-house. And I'm sorry, it is an English class. So welcome. Thank you for having me today. Welcome to another class of Partnership Realty. Today is with me, Patricia with Pioneer Mortgage Funding. And today we have an amazing class. So first of all, I would like to apologize. I'm a little bit stuffy. And I will be doing this class sitting down. But today's class, it's an amazing class. It's very important because we're going to cover some of the most important things that I would like to transfer to you so you can be more effective when talking to clients, when helping first-time home buyers, and when being more effective at actually getting clients to closing, right? That's the most important. We can all agree on that, right? The whole idea is to get the client to get their house and closing. So again, today's class is help more clients buy with no money. I don't really like this title. I like little to no money, but no money, it's also an option. So we're gonna go over the techniques, over the programs that we have available for first-time home buyers and whatnot. And without further ado, let me just start a presentation. So a little bit about myself, first of all, as a person. My name is Patricia. I am Cuban/American because I've been here longer than I've been in Cuba, so I guess, that makes me both. I'm a mother of two big, beautiful children and two beautiful Boston Terriers who are also my babies. I'm a wife to a wonderful husband for 25 years this year. God bless his soul. And as a good Floridian, I love the beach, traveling, my family, and I love my job. I love my job because I think we are in the best job ever. We're going to have another slide about that. But we really get to make a difference with this profession. We get to help people, buy their home, build legacy, build patrimony, and, and build wealth with this, with real estate. And so a little bit about me professionally. I have been doing this for way too long. Since '98, actually, I have over 27 years of experience. I was a banker for several years, and working in South Florida made me realize that being a banker and a lender, it's very difficult to work with every kind of client. So that made me become a broker. What is the difference between a lender or a banker and a broker? The difference is that I get to work with over 80 lenders. So that gives me the flexibility and the opportunity to actually help pretty much every client. If the client doesn't qualify after I'm done with their whole qualifications, we need to create a plan, but they do not qualify. So that is the bottom line. The difference between me and other lenders or other brokers is that my service, I offer a white glove service, a boutique service, a personalized service. I like to work directly not only with the realtor, but also with your client even the other realtors and the transaction coordinators and everybody. I want to keep everybody in the loop. I do my own processing. I have my own team. So it's not like I delegate or transfer the servicing of your mortgage and then you don't know what's going on. Like I am on top of my business. So I am your point of contact from beginning to end. That is my main compromise to you, right? So who's Pioneer Mortgage Funding? You might know them or you may not. Pioneer Mortgage Funding, it's one of the, I thought it was two different G's there, but we're a broker, we're not a lender. That's the thing. We are recognized among the top 100 brokers in the state of Florida. And actually we have license in multiple states. We are a top broker in Florida in UWM, which is one or the biggest wholesale lender in the entire world. Basically we get all in one. This is an established company and you want to work with the best, right? The beauty is that you have it here in the office. You have me always available, like Guillermo was saying. You can always reach me, whether I'm in the office or you can always reach me by phone, by text. I'm always available. I'll always answer. So this is one of my favorite quotes, and I always put it here because the difference between people that do real estate professionally or do it as a hobby, it's this. Your commitment to yourself and to your profession. So this is a proof that you're investing in yourselves, that you're investing in your profession, that you are a professional, not just somebody that does this from time to time when somebody calls you, okay? So invest in yourself is the best investment you can ever make. This is what you're gonna take. So it will definitely make a difference when you talk to a client, when you talk to other realtors, when you talk to a title company, when you talk to lenders like me. It would show that you know your business, or that you're not. So thank you for being here again. Thank you for giving me the time. The people that are watching online, thank you for being here. And we're going to answer questions at the end. Or, if you can raise your hand, if you have any questions while I go over programs, that would be great. So this is one of my favorite slides. And it's that we are in the best industry, in the best moment, in the best place, and in the best company. So why real estate is the best business? Well, I'm a little bit biased, but tell me if I'm wrong. Real estate is the best business because it's a tangible asset. It's not something that, like with the stock market, we can see what's going on. When the market plunges, you may lose everything. Real estate is brick and mortar. You always own it. It's like with Scarlett O'Hara, with Tara, like the dirt, it's your property. It's a solid investment. People always need a place to live. So that's business, security. That's for you guys, right? It's also profitable. There's convenience. So why Florida is the best market? So in Florida, we have over 1,000 people moving daily to the state of Florida. So this kind of started like with COVID. COVID showed the people that you don't need to be where you work, so you can work. So what if I have a choice to work in Connecticut or in Michigan? And sorry, I'm the people that are there, or work in Florida? Hell no, I'm going to be in Florida. So a lot of people moved, and they're moving today to South Florida from big markets like New York, big markets like California, San Francisco. They're all here. So not only that, people from South Florida, or from all over the world, actually, they're moving here as well. So growth, it's incredible, and outpaces the entire U.S. market. Tax benefits, we have tax homestead exemptions. We have all kinds of benefits. We don't pay state taxes. Like most states pay state taxes, like California and New York, and they're extremely expensive. We don't pay state taxes on our properties. And then we have the climate attractions. We even have Messi right now. And why the best company? I always like to point out why Partnership Realty. Partnership Realty, I believe, is an amazing place to put your license. Not only you get 100% your commission, but you have an entire team of resources at your disposition. This is life and death, guys, in this business. People like me, you have 5 lenders in-house that you can choose from, you can talk to, you can get different knowledge from, different languages. You have a transaction coordinator team like with Sonia. They can take your deal from A through Z without hiccup because they know what they're doing. They can help you write a contract. You have title company, title partners. I mean, they're incredible. They can do the closing for you. It's all in-house, and you even have an insurance, an inspection company here. So all in one, it's amazing to have because it's resources at your disposition that you should use, because if you don't use them, it's up to you, but they're at your disposition. So now, without further ado, I want to talk to you guys about our class today. So help more clients buy their home. So this slide, and I'm going to stay in this slide for a little bit because it's, to me, the most important thing that you can do for yourselves, for your clients, for me. And this is one of the things that I like to tell realtors that I work with, and even clients. I don't like to waste anybody's time, especially mine. I'm very busy. I am on top of everything. So, I really need to do time management. So my number one priority is when I'm talking to a client or to a realtor is to try to gather as much information so I know if that client is qualified. If it's qualified today, or if it's not qualified for another 6 months or 12 months, that's going to give a sense of priority. And it's going to help you guys. So this is so important to you because the worst thing that you can do as a realtor, and I was just talking to a client that was looking at properties for $800,000, and they haven't talked to a lender. That to me is insane if you're a realtor. Because I think you guys, I take my hat off to you guys. You guys are amazing. I will not be driving a client around for no reason. But, if you do that, you need to make sure that that client is already qualified to buy the property that you're showing them. That makes a difference because otherwise you're spinning your wheels and you're actually looking unprofessionally with your clients. So that is the bottom line. Like if you're driving, or somebody calls you and you're driving them around and you're showing them property, you're sending them listings, and your client is not qualified, and then they need a loan, and then they don't qualify, how do you think that that's going to reflect on you? Very poorly. So this is the best slide. If you can write that down, if you can take a picture, this is something that you need to know, at least to gather, before you talk to me or any other lender. So qualifying your client is the first step to ensuring your client can buy their home. Learn how to identify buyers who qualify for assistance programs and guide them through closing. But not only assistance programs, so they were talking about assistance programs. I want you to understand if the client qualifies for a loan, period, okay? So what are the main points to follow? You need to understand what kind of employment they have. Are they employees? Do they get paid with a W-2? Okay? Or they're 1099 or self-employed. Anybody can tell me the difference between those two?
Self-employment, 1099.
Uh-huh.
So you work for a firm.
Perfect. Yes. There's a big difference. When somebody is recognized as an employee and they get paid with a W-2, they more than likely get a pay stub every week, bi-weekly, monthly, whichever way they get paid. That pay stub has already deductions of their taxes. FICA, MICA, WICA, all kinds of stuff. Social Security. So when they get that, they're already paying their taxes up front. So what does that mean to the lender? That since you're already paying your taxes up front, we can use or utilize 100% of that paycheck, the gross, not even the net, the gross, to qualify them. So this is a big, big difference, because when you are 1099 or you're self-employed, you have your own company, you have your LLC, or your S corporation or whatnot, and you pay your own taxes, what happens is that most lenders are going to require 2 full years of taxes to review, and they will go by the actual amount that you pay taxes on. This is a separate class. This is a workshop. I've done a workshop about this before. I don't think it's gotten recorded. I'm probably going to do a YouTube, and I'm going to send it to you guys so you can have it, because this is very important. And there's tricks and tips on how you get to the bottom line to at least have an idea. But this is, as a question goes, this is the most important. Because if they're employees, all you need to ask is basically for a month worth of pay stubs. Okay, they get paid bi-weekly. It's ideal to ask for 2. Okay, 1 pay stub is enough, actually. But ideally, when you come to me, you want to get an entire month. So if they get paid weekly, it's 4. If they get paid bi-weekly, it's 2. That makes sense, right? But if you have a 1099 employee, or you have an S corporation or an LLC owner, you're going to ask them for 2 full years of taxes. And that's going to be the first question, because then that's going to guide everything else, like what kind of programs we can put them on, okay? Then the second one, well, goes together with the employment, is the income, how much they make. Because another point, and one of the very important ones, is you cannot put them in a debt that they cannot pay. They need to qualify, right, to cover their debts. So the income is like, okay, sir, okay, great that you make, a pay stub. You get paid your W-2. How much do you make a year? What was your last year's W-2? Okay? Oh, $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever. That amount is what we need to take and divide into 12. And then again, this is another workshop, but I wanted to just stay here a little bit and bear with me. And I know it's a lot of information. I'm always going to be available. I'm always a call or a text away. But this is very important, because that monthly divided by 2 minus whatever debts they have currently, and I mean car payments, the minimum of the credit card. I don't care about rent. I don't care about taxes or whatever. I just care about whatever comes up on their credit bureau. That bottom line money is what they can really afford to buy a house. So that's going to give us an idea how much house they can afford, right? So this is
monthly payment divided by 2.
Divided by 12. No. I'm sorry. The yearly income divided by 12 divided by 2. That is going to give us a very round up idea of what, minus that divided by 2 minus their debt, their monthly debts, right?
Divided by 2 and then divided by 2.
Divided by 12, divided by 2, minus their debt. Okay. So that's going to give us an idea, and based on that number, we can have a very good idea of what kind of house they can afford. So, for example, the money's $2,500. Okay, maybe they can qualify for like a $300,000 loan, that kind of thing, or house. Then again, the bottom line number is going to be, once we review all the documents. But this is, again, I'm stopping here so you can have an idea of how to proceed. Because if they tell you, oh, I make $20,000 a year, divide that in $500, you know that there's nothing that's going to have a $500 monthly payment on. So it's going to give you an idea if that client is an immediate jump on it, or we're going to have to plan and help them structure their lives so we can help them in the future, all right? Now, the third one is going to be the credit. So credit has two parts. Okay, what is their score? Most programs need a credit score. The way that the lenders work, the mortgage lenders, is that we use the tri-merge report, 3 reports. Anybody can tell me what the reports are? Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Great. And the way that the lenders work is that they use the middle score. Not the highest, not the lowest, the middle. Thank you, lenders. They don't use the highest, but they use the middle one. That's good enough, all right? So they use the middle score. But that's the part number 1 with the credit. The second part is how much debt they have, okay? So here goes back to the debt to income. Oh, I have 3 cars under my credit. I pay $1,000 on my truck. I pay $1,000 on my wife's Mercedes-Benz, and then I pay $500 for my kid's Tesla. That's $2,000 that you're not going to qualify for in a house. You see what I'm saying? So that is important to just have an idea together with the first one, what would be. So that is the question. The 12 months divided by 12, divided by 2, minus these debts, right? And then the fourth is, do you have any assets? Do you have any money, any liquid money, okay? Do you have any savings, okay? And then again, sometimes, and this is one thing that you can use me for, sometimes the clients will open up with you, but sometimes they won't because they feel like maybe they don't want to, maybe they're friends, maybe they're family members, they don't really want to tell you that they don't have any money. Maybe they don't want to tell you that their credit is shot. That's when you involve me. I am the lender. And my disclosure is like, you have to treat me as your defense attorney. You got to tell me everything. You need to tell me where you hid the body so I can defend you. If you don't tell me this, I cannot help you. So please, be honest with me. This is going to stay here. Because some people are like, they don't really like to share with a realtor. Use me in that case. But if most people will. Most people will tell you, yeah, I have like $10,000 in a savings, or no, I have like $2,000. Okay, do you have a 401k? Do you have a retirement account? Always ask that question. So write that. If they're a W-2 employee, it's very important that you ask them if they have a 401k or a retirement account. 401k or retirement account gives them a lot of benefits when they're first-time home buyers. A lot of benefits. You can borrow against your 401k. You can take that money out without any penalty, right? And you can use that money for reserves, and you can use that money, to buy your house. If we don't qualify, like I'm going to go further on these programs, right? You always want to know how much money we're counting on. This doesn't mean that they're going to have to use it, or they're going to have to use it all. So you can explain that to them. I'm trying to help you. Like, that doesn't mean that you're going to be running out of savings. But I need to know, because that's going to give us a whole scenario of how can we better help you, right? So these 4 points are the most important things that you can ask your clients before you come to me. And we're going to go now on slides by slides on the different programs, and I'm going to tell you why these all come together. And again, I don't want you to do my job. I just want you to work smart, not hard, right? So any questions on this slide?
Yeah. If they have an asset overseas, does that count as an asset? Like a property somewhere else?
No. Especially not a property. Like if they have money in a Swiss account, like I was talking to a client today, he's like, okay, I have this account in Europe. I'm like, well, great, yeah, we can use it. There's so many programs. Like if there's an investment program, we can use that as reserves. We can use that money. I can get those statements, and I can get them translated and certified here, and I can use that money. And they all need to transfer the money at closing. Yes, we can use it if it's liquid assets, cash. Like cash, I mean like, money in the bank. Liquid, ready to use, not a property. A property abroad, I don't need to know that.
Car paid off?
No, no. Sell the car and then put the money in the account. That's liquid. Okay. You see what I'm saying? No. So, but you want to ask them, and they will tell you and say, okay, great, thank you, great. Oh, you have a car, good for you. I mean, that's commendable. But at the end of the day, for the loan, it's not going to help. Not really. You think of things that we can, tangible assets that we can use. Like, should they need to bring $5,000 more to closing? Do you have the money? Do you have a house in Italy? Great. Oh, awesome. I want to have one too, but that's not going to go for any. Can I buy it for you for $5,000? Okay. So any other questions on this slide? This is very important. Again, I mean, I'm going to be here to help in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so moving right along. Assistant programs. This is the reason we're here. And I mean, I could have done this class on anything, but I feel that these programs are amazing. Ismael wanted me to do this class in English because there's so many. And sometimes people think that they don't have enough money to qualify. And then again, these assistant programs are all about one thing. They can help with one thing only, which is money. They cannot help with credit. They cannot help with, you know, with anything else, with income, with anything, but they can help you with money. So down payment assistance programs are like, especially in Florida, in South Florida and Florida, you know, most of these programs, they have common requirements. You have to be a first-time home buyer or haven't bought in 3 years. Now, this is important. Most people don't know that this is like a little asterisk, right? So have you ever owned a home? Oh, yeah, I owned a home, but I sold it like in COVID. Oh, you're a first-time home buyer. It's been 5 years, you know? So if they haven't owned the property for 3 years or more, they qualify as a first-time home buyer. This is amazing because some people, they're like, no, I'm not a first-time home buyer because I bought a house in 1999. Oh, you're a first-time home buyer, right? So, or being a first-time home buyer and never owned before. Income with a certain limits. Most programs, they do have a maximum. Like, they don't want to, you know, give free money to somebody that makes a lot of money. And that makes sense, right? It's to help the people that don't really have a lot. They have to have an acceptable credit score, and we're going to talk about different programs. For the most part, it's 640. So think about that number. Some of them require participation in home buyer education, which is super simple. They just go online and they just do it. It's free. But each program varies, and this is why it's so important that you guys are here today. Because then again, this classes that I'm doing, or that we're doing and that Ismael provides to you, is to make you guys do better. The difference between you and somebody that's not here or that doesn't listen to these classes is that they have no idea. So when somebody's going to go ask them, oh, do you have any program available? Oh, no, you're going to have to give 20% down payment. Oh, okay, thank you. And they're going to go somewhere else. So then somebody else comes and they're like, oh, no, there's programs that actually give you down payment. They give you $10,000. They give up to $35,000. Wait, what? No, such and such had no idea what she's doing. So then again, this is the difference between you getting educated and other people that don't. Now, available help options. So there's different programs offered. 0 down payment. There's programs with 1% down payment that I know it's coming. Closing cost assistance, subsidized interest rates, tax credits. Many states, counties, and banks have programs available. So then again, the difference between being to these classes and getting to know what's going on. Again, I get over, if I tell you I get over 100 emails every day about lenders with different, I have over 80 lenders in my portfolio. I get over 100 emails a day with different programs. So whenever I need to look at a program, I just have to go in my search engine and I need to type a password and see what and then I can shop around, because otherwise it's overwhelming. So there is more information out there than you really need, but it's good that you know what's out there. At least have an idea so you can talk to your client and look good, right? So the key documents, again, now, this is complementary to the pre-qualifying. You pre-qualify your client, you have an idea that your client does qualify. So what is the next step? And this is something that I will do with you or for you, okay? But you can do it, okay? You always need an ID, a social security card, and I'm gonna do a little asterisk here. We're living in a little bit of crazy times, and I'm not gonna go into a political rant or anything like that, but things are changing. FHA, as of today's the 21st, as of Friday, FHA is no longer going to offer, FHA programs to people that are not residents, like with a green card, or citizens. That was not the case until Friday. So it's very important that you ask your clients, and I didn't put that on the prior slide. What's your residency status? Are you a citizen? Are you a resident? Do you have what kind of visa you have? And then again, there's many programs that people qualify just by being in a work visa or having some other, but what we need to know, this is very important, we need to know what's their status, because otherwise we don't know what kind of programs we can offer them. For all of these programs, all of the assistant programs, they had to be citizens or residents. That's it. Yeah? So, proof of income. Again, check stubs, pay stubs, W-2s, or if they're self-employed, 2 years of taxes. 2 years of taxes. Ideally, I like to say these programs, to be like in a surefire way, they're more than likely going to have to be W-2 employees, because, and I say it as one myself, self-employed individuals, we really like a lot of deductions. So that makes it really hard to qualify for a loan. It is true. We get the best of both worlds, but at the time of qualifying for a loan, it doesn't really help us, right? So tax returns, 2 years, work permit if available, but that's not for this type of programs. And having these documents ready speeds up the process. You know, you told me, okay, Patri, I got this and this and this and this and that. I already talked to them. Great, because I can look at that in a minute and I can tell you, well, based on this information, they qualify for something like this. And are they ready to proceed? Are they ready to move forward now? Because we can qualify this person today. So, you know, now you have a sense of urgency versus, yeah, it's somebody that's looking into, no. You know, are you planning, are you ready to buy this right now? Like, if you're ready, willing, and able to, like, and you're approved, are you ready to move now? Yes. Okay, then let's move forward. Now, this SHIP program, actually, it's, I have it here because it's interesting. Every state, counties, and banks have different programs available, but this is the SHIP program that was actually for Palm Beach County. May 15th. So super wild. It opened on May 15th at noon, and you had to have all these qualifications and you had to upload them in that window. So most people that I know, and I pre-qualified, because one of the things is that the requirements that you had to be approved or pre-approved already for the loan. They submitted everything and most of them couldn't even get through. It's like a lotto. They only accept 100. But, and again, I know that this class is recorded. We're using all of this, guys, for your advantage. Why? Because all of this is to throw a net and talk to more clients and pre-qualify your clients. And now you know that they're pre-qualified. Now that you know that they're approved. So yeah, maybe you don't qualify for that one, but let's try to help you with other programs. Let's try to get you a seller contribution, and I'm going to talk about that, you know? So maybe they didn't get in this lottery, but maybe they qualify for the Florida bond, okay? So what is a Florida bond? And like you were asking, Osat, the Florida bond, it's a grant, it's a bond. The way that I like to describe it is like a dormant second lien on the property. What does that mean? Okay, that means that it's $10,000, and I have the link there and I can send it to you guys so yeah, you can look at the guidelines and whatnot. It's a $10,000 grant for your first-time home buyers to buy their home. So basically, this is a interest-free, payment-free grant or bond for 30 years. What does that mean? That if your client lives in the house for 30 years, after 30 years that they pay off their first mortgage, then they need to return this money because it's a bond. They can't sell before that? Or? They can do anything they want, but they have to pay it back. They can. The question was, like, can they sell it? Yes, they can sell it, they can refinance it, but then they're gonna have to pay back the money. And it makes sense, guys. I mean, these programs, all of these programs are to help somebody get their foot in the door, get their house, right? But, you know, you wanna help more people. So this is the way of the state of getting their money back and being able to go to another family and give them the money. That makes sense, right? I help you get into your house, like you didn't have any money, but you know, you're ready to sell your house, 2 years. What is the usual growth of a property here within 2 years? Anybody?
640 credit, and what is the other they say?
No, hold on 1 second, Ruthie. We're talking about the growth of a property. The growth of a property, it's what? Like maybe 15%. So they can make on a, you know, they bought a house for $200,000. They can probably sell the house in 2 years for $250,000, $300,000. That's $50,000 to $100,000 in profit, okay? That they can sell it. So yeah, pay the $10,000. It's really not a big deal, right? That makes sense. So we can lend, so we can give the money to somebody else and they can buy the house. So yes, they can sell it, they can refinance it, but it's very important that they understand that it has to be given back, right? So it had to be first-time home buyer, Ruthie. First-time home buyers, they need to be a Florida employee, Florida resident and Florida employee, right? They need to have 640 scores of credit. Their debt to income, that's DTI, needs to be below 50%. And this is a big, big, big one on this one. They do not want the clients to be over 50% debt to income. It's a big rule. It's a big federal rule that we cannot, as lenders, put the client in a loan that they cannot afford. So especially on their primary residence. This is their home. This is their homestead in the state of Florida. So we cannot be anywhere over that 50%. So this is like one of the asterisk on this loan. And ideally, they're an employee at W-2. Ideally, I said, because some people will qualify with a company, with a 1099, but most people won't. Your
They
question.
can use it for down payment or closing costs?
They can use it for anything they want. It's $10,000. $10,000 that is going to be applied at closing. So it is a very simple application. I'm actually working on 3 right now. It really is not too hard to qualify because the income limit is super high. Like they can make $140,000 or something like that a year. So if they have all these requirements, they just get the bond at closing. So at closing, you're going to see it as a $10,000 credit. And we're going to talk about later about how you can combine this with other things so that way they don't have to come out of pocket with pretty much any money, right? So any questions on the Florida bond? Yes. Ruthie.
No, the $10,000 is zero interest, right?
Zero interest, zero payment for 30 years. And this is the way that it's placed. It's 30 years. Now, again, how many people that you know lived in their house for 30 years? In their first home, on the primer, on the first one that they buy? None. And they know this, so this is why they do it, because they know that in 3-5 years at most, they're gonna get their money back and they're gonna be able to get it to somebody else. That makes sense. But if they stay in their house, like the viejitos from up, okay, they stay in their house forever, right? And at 30 years, you're paying your house. So whenever you pay that first mortgage, that first lien, then this activates and say, okay, you paid your house, congratulations, give me my $10,000 back. But in 30 years, how much is the house? What is it? What is it?
It's not forgotten.
No, it's called a bond. It's the same thing. That's kind of the same thing. Okay, so go ahead. You, dime.
No, I already told you. It's no interest. After the 30-year example,
You have to pay it back. After 30 years, you have to pay it back. No. It's just a 10,000.
Who's let you know how they can pay the 10,000?
Ay, Ruth. Ay, serio. The state will tell you. No, okay. It's very simple. It's very simple, guys. We have a title company here. Okay, and it's a good question actually. It's not like they make you pay. It's not like they make you pay, but they will make you pay. So when you do any transaction, let's say it's before those 30 years, okay? When you do any transaction, right, you have to go through a title company. The title company does what is called a lien search. And I know that Victoria's been doing the classes and whatnot. A lien search is like when they see what's against your house, what's encumbering your property, right, money-wise. So a lien could be sometimes, your mortgage is the biggest lien. But let's say that they don't pay taxes. That's a tax lien against your house. Let's say that they put solar panels or windows. That is a contractor's lien. And this is a silent, that's what I said in the beginning, it's silent second lien. Silent because it's not gonna make any noise until it needs to. So the title will tell you, oh great, here's your check if you sell your house, or here's your refinancing. Here's your check, minus $10,000. That's it. That's it. That has to go back to the state of Florida. And when you sell your house, when you finish paying your house, you're going to get a title and a deed sent to you. But guess what? You're going to have $10,000. If you wanted that to be cleared, you're going to have to pay it at that point. So I don't know after 30 years what the process will be, but if you want your title to be clean and you want your deed in your hand that is paid in full, you have to pay it. That's it. But then again, let's use the example of the viejitos of up. How much is the house in the middle of San Francisco? It's probably millions and millions. Okay, so July 1st. What's coming July 1st? Hometown heroes. I love hometown heroes. Now, hometown hero is, I'm not going to take this off anytime soon. Hometown heroes is awesome. I love Hometown Hero. It's a little bit sensitive, but it's not so bad. And a lot of people do qualify. In the prior years, I've done over 15 to 20 loans for Hometown Heroes. They're super simple. There is no separate process. It's just through a lender. So this is amazing because it's, again, like the bond that we explained before, it works the same way. But the difference is that is, anybody? 5%. Okay? So it goes all the way to $700,000. So it's pretty much, you know, you can buy a $700,000 house and you're going to get up to $35,000. So it's 5% of the purchase price or $35,000. So this is awesome because it's real money. Maximum $35,000. So this is awesome. Anybody here can tell me what is the average closing cost and down payment total for buying a house for first-time home buyers?
5%.
Okay, so down payment is between 3% if it's a conventional loan, or FHA is 3.5%. And closing costs are an average of 3%. Okay, so in total, 6 to 6.5%. That's a good question. Well, let me answer first the other one. So the other thing about the Hometown Hero, it's available when it's available. It's state funded. So for example, we don't know how much money is going to come out. They can say $100 million. They can say it's $1 million. You see what I'm saying? So we do not know. So the length and the availability of the program is based on availability of the funds.
And that's 5% down, or?
And that is up to 5% down or up to $35,000, right? So again, let's say that it's usually before has been like $100 million. So divide that. And so the most important thing about these programs is that you want to have your clients ready to go. They need to be pre-qualified. Not pre-approved, pre-qualified. And that means that I already looked at all the documents. We are good to go for this amount, tentatively. And the way that you separate the money is by submitting a loan with a contract. The only way of submitting a loan is with a contract. So the only way of separating this money, es que, man, qué indisciplinadas son estas mujeres. ¡Ay! Y después quiere que le responda la pregunta. Esperen, que estoy terminando una. Entonces, eso es importantísimo, que, you know, when money's over, se acabó. Over life, but I don't have my thing there. Hi, everybody. They are not indisciplinadas. They're really good. Okay, let's see. Sorry, guys. Network connection lost. Oh, God. Oh, okay. I don't see that one. Okay, so we were talking about Hometown Hero. So Hometown Hero, one of the questions that came up in the little intermission is that, okay, availability. So it is expected to be July 1st. It hasn't been like an official announcement, but we are really expecting to be ready in July 1st. But this is depending on how much funding the state can actually secure. So it could be $100 million. It could be $30 million. It could be $1 million. I don't think it's going to be that little anyways. But the beauty and the crazy thing about this is that when the money's over, it's over. So why is it so important? Because this one time is of the essence. Okay, so this is really good for you guys. You don't want to start talking to clients that are ready to buy next year, in 2 years from now. Oh, great, but you need to make money today, right? So this is gonna save questions. This is very important because it's gonna create urgency on your clients. They need to be pre-qualified, not pre-approved, pre-qualified. That means that we already looked at the taxes, we already looked at everything, credit, everything. They're ready to go. And they're already looking at properties. Because the only way to secure this funding is by making an offer. And the only way to make an offer and get into a contract and submit the loan is by already having a property looked at and being qualified. Now, the question was, can they put a 20% down payment and still get it? Yes, they can. Ahora, or now, what's so important about that, Ruth? That's a very good question, because some people do want to get that and they want to get the money. You have to think and you have to remember that this money is owed, okay? Qué bonita la muchacha. This money is owed. So what does that mean? That if they sell, if they refinance, the same thing applies. So it could be 10,000, it could be 15, it could be 20, it could be 35. So that is a substantial amount of money that they have to pay back when they refinance or sell their house, right? Now, let's say that they're in an FHA loan and the rates go down, and this is something that we have talked about before. I talk about it on my YouTube video. You should look at it for the FHA. One of the main benefits of FHA is that after 6 payments, you can refinance into a lower rate, reduce your payment, reduce your rate, and you don't have to pay really closing costs. But what if you have a $35,000 lien on that property? You think you can do that? No. So if the client has money, it's better to not really put him in one of these programs, Ruth. If they have the 20% down payment, it really doesn't make any sense. Let's try to find other ways to help them, like with seller contribution. We're going to talk about it now. But instead of putting them on a bond that they have to pay back, and it's going to, it's really going to like stop them from being able to like maybe we're getting a better rate soon or doing a refinancing or something like that because they have that big lien in there. You see what I'm saying? Hold on 1 second. Got it. Hold on.
Just for single-family homes?
So, very important question. Not necessarily, but no condos. For any of these programs, no condos. And I'm saying this with love in my heart because 90% of the, or 99% of the Florida condos are not Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac approved. So I would steer clear from condos. You can probably do a mobile home, okay? So for all of these programs, has to be a single unit. What does that mean? If you have a regular FHA loan or a conventional loan, you can buy a multi-unit. What is a multi-unit? Duplex, triplex, fourplex, right? In this type of program, so if you want the assistance, has to be 1 unit. That's one unit, right? That makes sense. Good question. Jackie.
I have 3.
Okay, 3. Multiple questions,
Yeah.
A, B, or C?
First, if 20% could be like conventional and they can use this or not? Or they can be like a client that qualify for FHA and can use it?
So, okay. You're going into the rabbit hole, but I'm going to answer the question. Yes, this program can be, Hometown Hero or the Florida Bond can be in combination with FHA, VA, or conventional loans. VA, FHA, VA is for veterans. FHA is for anybody buying their primary home or conventional loan, right? But these programs are all for first-time home buyers. So, yes. Now, let's say that they want to do a conventional loan and put 20%. We're back into the situation. Yes, they can probably get it. They might not pay mortgage insurance, but would they take most benefit of that? Maybe not, because then they're going to have to pay it back whenever. If they have the money, it's better to not really use this type of programs, right?
I'm sorry, why is different? Because the interest is different? Because
There's many differences. That's a different class into conventional and FHA loans. Many, many differences. And we can have an entire completely separate class about FHA, VA, and we can talk about that. And good question, maybe I'll do a YouTube video. I've been looking for what to do a YouTube video, and maybe I'll do a YouTube video and all of the differences. And I can right now. Okay, so let's stick to Hometown Hero and this assistance programs right now so we can finish the class. I ordered pizza for you guys, and we have stuff there. So any other questions on Hometown Hero?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
review. What are the careers that qualify for the
No, that is no longer the case.
No,
So
fine.
good question, good question. in the beginning. Sorry. And I say it like this because there's a video on YouTube about this guy trying to read beginning. You should watch it because, I mean, I cannot think about it because I crack up and I cannot laugh because I'm coughing. In the beginning, when this program came up, it came up for first responders. When Hometown Hero first came up to be, it came up for first responders after COVID. Why? Because the first responders were like through and through helping people. So this was a way of the state to help those people, to give back to those people. The second time this program came around, it was open for everybody that's a first-time home buyer. Now, what's a first-time home buyer, guys?
Never been home in 3 years. Right.
They have never had a home or they haven't owned a home for 3 years. Good. And this has to be both. And this program has to be both. Why both? Husband and wife, the husband had a house, but sold it, they got married, They cannot apply together for this loan. For these programs, they can do an FHA loan and apply for FHA, but they cannot apply for this. They have to be free of homes for 3 years or more, right? Okay, and this is in Spanish, but it's okay. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Okay, she has this doubt here that she needs to get past because she won't sleep tonight.
Move forward, but I do have.
Okay, go ahead.
If I have a client with the FHA is 3.5%.
Yes.
Have just they're struggling and they just have the 3.5%. And for this,
That's
they're
it.
gonna give 5%. How?
Yeah, that will cover. That will pretty much cover most of that 3.5% and their closing costs.
Okay.
All they need to have is probably that 1.5% or 1%, depending on their closing costs. That's the idea of a down payment assistance, guys. The idea of these programs or assistance programs is for the client to have help. So yes, if they have 20% down payment, does it really need the help from the state or the government? Come on, let's these programs are for people that really want to buy. They have employment, they have credit, they've done things right. They don't have a lot of debt, but they don't have money. So here is how we can help them get into a house and become homeowners and whatnot. Go ahead.
The minimum credit is 640, but is there a minimum on the W-2 that they have to show on the taxes?
No, it's a maximum, usually. But in the Hometown Hero program, it's really not necessary. Like, it mostly goes it's 80% of the medium income average for but sometimes goes over. So don't really focus on this. If they make $300,000 a year, they probably don't need these programs, right, to qualify. So no, they don't need to have a minimum. Absolutely not. So moving right along, and hopefully, and I will keep you posted. This program is going to be available July 1st. Again, the most important thing that I want to leave you with this program, okay, is the urgency. We are already at the end of May, so means June is next week, which means that we have a month before this program comes live. Everybody's already waiting on this. So if you have any buyers that you're working with that are first-time home buyers, you need to already start being super proactive. Super proactive. What does that mean? Call them today. Hey, Mr. Buyer, I have this amazing program. It's going to come up live on July 1st. It gives you up to 5% for closing costs and down payment. But you need to be ready because July 1st comes and everybody's going to be submitting their applications and securing the money, and you might be let out. So, again, all of these programs are to give you an edge, to get that deal closer, to get those clients pre-qualified and ready to go. Okay?
You need to have any money saved up.
Well, not really, not a lot. And we're going to talk about, now you have 5%. That pretty much going to cover everything. And we're going to talk about other things.
Is there a rule of thumb to say they both work, they make $40,000 a year, that's $80,000, and they want to be first home buyers?
That is the first slide. That was my first slide about that was my first slide about pre-qualifying your clients.
Oh, yeah.
That will give you an idea. The division, the multiplication, exactly.
Maybe a $400,000.
You can exactly because it all depends also on what their debt is, and there's no way of getting over 50% debt to income ratio on these programs, right? Okay, so.
But the areas has to be particular areas, right?
No, for these programs, no. Any areas, yes. None of the, no program, no. There's no limit in areas, no. Now, we're gonna go in a little different tangent from actually assistance programs to what is called down payment assistance, but they're not really assistance. This is the way that you can, let's say that your client has a little bit more of debt to income, they really don't have the credit has to be around the 640, but they still need help with their down payment, right? So what do? I work with several lenders, several banks that offer this, what is called the down payment assistance programs. The down payment assistance program, the way that it works is that it's two loans. It's two loans. One for, and this is always FHA, by the way, FHA. What is FHA, guys? How much down payment?
3.5.
Exactly. So it's one loan for 96.5%, and then there's a second loan for that 3.5 or even 5%. So this is super cool because the 3.5 will cover 100% of the loan, of the value of the house, what you need, or if they want 5%, maybe it's a little bit more. So this helps them a little bit with closing costs, right? Now, they do have to qualify. This is an FHA loan. The way that they qualify is that they have to qualify for both loans and still get a DU approved, which is desktop underwriter. It's a system that we all lenders use to approve the clients through FHA or VA or conventional. So they have to qualify with the first and second mortgage, right? And the first loan is going to be a regular FHA, which FHA is about 6.5% right now. But the second loan is going to be 2% higher than that, okay? Which is like an 8.5. Let's just say round numbers. The first loan is an FHA loan, which is for 30 years amortization. They get 30-year payments. The second loan is only for 10 years, so the payment is going to be slightly higher. But the thing about this is that the second loan usually is very little. So they usually qualify, you know? So let's say the first loan is for like 100 and something thousand or 200 and something. The second one is like 15,000 or 10,000 or whatever. So they will still qualify, right? So the payment is not going to be that much. Now, let's say that they do stay in this house for 3 years and they took out the 3.5 second loan. If they can show, and this is different lenders have different guidelines, but this is my favorite one, so this is what I'm going to show you. If they made the payments on time, if they keep everything in order, after 36 months of payments, the lender might forgive that second mortgage, just forgives it, yeah. Or in the case of the 5%, if they stay 5 years with the house, they might forgive the second mortgage. The second loans are forgiven 36 months if they do the 3.5%, or 60 months, which is 5 years, if they do the 5%, right? Now, if they were to sell their house, if they were to refinance, all of that stuff, you always have to refinance the whole thing, the first and the second. This is an actual lien that you pay interest on, so you know it is a second mortgage, right? Any questions about this down payment assistance? Yes.
Yes. You said that it can be forgiven.
Yes.
Or it's a rule.
Okay, different lenders have different rules. So, and they have to qualify to be forgiven. That means that they have been paying their payments on time for 5 years. So obviously the lender says, you know what, the value is already there, the equity is already there, they forgive it. If it's, they have to qualify. It's up to the lender. Always it's up to the lender. This is forgivable. Again, we go back to the same thing. Most people stay in their house 3 to 5 years. So this will be the thing. And they're banking on that, you know? So the next program is professionals. Oh, and I put that in Spanish, so Spanglish for you. Professionals programs. And this program is awesome. And this one does have to have a profession. Okay, so I put it here because nonetheless, this is an amazing program. And again, my job with you guys is try to make your life easier, have better clients, have more qualified clients, and this is an amazing way to build a good pipeline of referral businesses, qualified referral businesses, right? So we're talking about professional programs that are programs like, it's called like a doctor's loan. Like in the mortgage lingo, it's called doctor's loan. Why? Because you have to have a PhD, like an actual degree in medicine, sorry, in medicine to actually qualify for this, right? But it is 100% financing with no mortgage insurance. Now, anybody here can tell me what mortgage insurance is?
When you owe
20%, more than 20% of your
Right.
house, of your loan, you gotta pay every month. 100%.
Right. So the mortgage insurance, I'm going to make it easier for you. The mortgage insurance is an insurance that the lender puts on the property that the client pays for, but it pays the lender in case they default on the loan. In case that they don't pay their mortgage, guess what? Oh, we're insured, just fine. So it is an insurance for the lender when the client is taking over 80% financing. On a conventional loan, on FHA, it's always. Because, do you know, anybody can tell me what an FHA loan is? It's a federally insured loan. So it is an insurance company from the federal government. Basically, it's FHA. So as FHA, it's basically an insurance on the loan that if the client doesn't pay, they will pay the lender. This is why FHA is a little bit more flexible and lenient and whatnot. And we will do that in our YouTube video about the difference between FHA and conventional. So
the buyer puts like 30%, then it's not required, mostly.
if it's an FHA, yes.
Oh,
If it's a conventional, no. Okay? Conventional always over 80%. So if they put 20% or more down payment, they don't have to pay what is called PMI, private mortgage insurance, or FHA is always, which is upfront insurance payment, or more upfront mortgage insurance, right? So in this one, it's super interesting because they can get up to $1 million of 100% financing with no mortgage insurance. So mortgage insurance is about 1.75% of that loan. It's substantial. So it is a lot of money on a $1 million loan, and they don't have to pay it. So that helps them qualify. Another thing is that this program, it's the way that I see it is ideal for somebody that's just graduating from a medical school, from attorney school, or CPA. So they have a heavy student loan. But guess what? This program doesn't take into consideration the student loan debts, right, to make them qualify. So again, this is a good way for you guys to get it.
Computer engineer.
No. Doctors.
Doctors.
So the only exception to this rule is CPAs, which is Certified Public Accountants, which is a PhD too, by the way, and attorneys, like professional attorneys. So school degrees, guys, degrees. And I have an entire list that I can make available for you, and we can do flyers, we've done flyers. It's only those professions that qualify. But no, 3, no, it's a bunch. It's like 20 professions or more. They have to be doctors. Doctors of veterinary medicine, of optometrists, of chiropractors. They just have to be a PhD doctor, medical doctor, right? Chiropractors, nurse practitioners is the other one. It cannot be an RN, not a registered nurse. It has to be a nurse practitioner. Nurse practitioners, if you know anybody in that profession, they're almost doctors. I can, and yes, and I have flyers that I can make for you. We're going to talk about that now. So this program, it's amazing. The way, and I've done an entire class just in this program. The reason I love this program so much is because it will get you in the office of doctors, attorneys, dentists. So let's say that you help somebody that's just fresh out of school buy their first home for $300,000. You help them with 100%. You help them through the process. Guess who's that person, she, gonna call when they're gonna buy their next home, which is probably already making a lot of money. They're buying their $1 million home. What are they gonna buy? Guess who's gonna refer you their coworkers? So I love this program because I want you to have to work, and I want to work with better qualified clients, people that have good credit, people that have money, they have income. This is a surefire way to get in that door. So. And again, Ismael and I did an entire class on this. Go to hospitals, go to doctor's office, go to dentist's office, put yourself out there. Get those people to listen to you. We can do presentations. And this, you get one, you're gonna get that referral source. So any questions on the professional programs? Oh, an important one on this one, and again, I have an entire class on this. Maybe I have to do Another YouTube about that. To do. They can not own any other property, right? It has to be their only property, only. Not only they don't have to be first-time home buyers. They don't have to be first-time home buyer, but they cannot own any other property. They can be a doctor that sold their home and they want to buy it, but they don't want to come out of pocket. There's scenarios and scenarios. You never know. But they cannot own any other property.
Doesn't matter if the other property is in basement, they don't have to have it.
They cannot qualify. They do not qualify. They do not qualify. Any questions on this program?
Yeah, for the closing cost, they have to have the money for the closing cost.
Yes, they have to have the money for the closing cost. Yes. And in this case, it's about a 5%. It's a little bit higher.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Now, this is how you can benefit from this. And these are the promotions that we have been working. And that this is how you can put it out to your clients, how to buy with little to no money. And I put 2,000 because that is a conservative number and that will cover your BUTTS, your butts, okay? Why? Because the reality of it is that when you put a contract, you have to put some escrow money out. That has to be liquid, right? So let's say that you put an escrow deposit of $1,000. What are the other out-of-pocket costs that you have to have? An appraisal. An appraisal for a primary home is usually how much? Yep. And what is the other expense that you had to have before closing? You had to do the inspections, right? Now, the beauty of this is that the appraisal and the inspection, you can actually pay with a credit card for the most part. So what does that leave you with? You can probably just put a $1,000 in escrow. And I just closed, and I just closed a VA loan for $800,000 with $1,000, and the client got back $500 at closing. So he bought an $800,000 house with $500. So this is true. You can promote it, they have to qualify, but this is the way you do it. And this is when we get to the nitty-gritty part of this. How do you really make all these programs work for your clients to buy these homes with little to no money down? This is how you do it. So the cost to buy a home is the down payment and the closing costs, right? So the down payment is conventional loan, we talked about this before, 3% for first-time home buyer, right? And an FHA is always 3.5. And the closing costs approximately for these loans are what? 3%. That's a good estimate. So let's say that you're already getting your clients $10,000, okay? Or you're getting your client at 5%. What is left? Maybe a little bit of money, right? Especially if they only get the bond, which is $10,000. Let's say, and we've done a workshop about this, but let's say that they're buying a $300,000 program. 3 times 6 is 18,000, right? 18,000. That's a round number. So they're already getting the bond for 10,000. What does that leave them with? How much money they have to come out of pocket with?
8,000.
8,000. But what if I tell you, and this is where you guys come in and you make the difference. And you're the only ones that can really make these programs work. Not only I can make the loan work with the bonds, with the grants and whatnot, with the down payment assistance, but the difference between them being able to have to come out of pocket with some money or none is you. Because then you will go and negotiate for them so the seller can give them contribution. Okay? So in FHA, they are allowed to get up to 6% seller contribution. It's ridiculous. 6%. Imagine. So they're already getting the $10,000, and you can negotiate. Now, I know that sometimes the sellers don't want to help, and this and this and that. There's so many techniques, and every case is different. Every case is particular, right? But a good rule of thumb is that you always do a CMA when you're going to go show a property, right? You have an idea that the property value is there. So if the property, you know that it's between $500,000 and $510,000, and the asking price is like $510,000, let's just say. Let's say that it's $520,000. Okay, what is a good way to do it as a realtor? You can go and you can make an offer if the client qualifies. And again, this is why it's so important that the client has to qualify. But if the client qualifies, you can make an offer for the $515,000 and tell them, yeah, we're going to give you the $515,000, but I need you to give back my client those $15,000 at closing for closing cost. So that 15,000 plus the 20 plus the 10 or the 5% would pretty much cover their expenses out of pocket. So they will not get that $1,000 back if they get over, because it's happened to me before, that they get so much money that they don't really need, their escrow money is like floating there, but they can apply towards principal, right? So, but basically you're helping your clients buy with no money down. Everybody understood what I just explained? Any questions about this?
Program, advertising, how much is the credit they have to have it to start in this?
In which one?
Minimum, this one, the one you just.
No, we're past programs. We're just talking about how to negotiate. Okay, the professionals, that's a really good question. They have to have 700 scores. 720. There you go. My favorite student. 720. And that's a really good question. For the professionals loan, they have to have 720 score to get the 100%. But then again, that is somebody that has a degree. They have the potential to earn a lot of money. They have 720 scores. Do you like that client? I like that client. I want that client.
I love it.
Of course, you love it, and that's ideally, and then that's the beauty about that program. That's the person that you're going to be dealing with on that program, and the referrals are going to be the same person. Now we're past that. Any questions about how to structure all of this to really help your clients not come out of pocket with money?
In the case of an FHA, you say they're allowed to receive 6% contribution, so we know questions where the money is coming from.
Absolutely. FHA questions everything. FHA questions absolutely everything. But I'm talking about seller contribution. Seller contribution. Okay. So seller contribution, it comes from the seller. They can also get a gift for up to 6%. And it is also questioned, but the gift can be from a family member, somebody close to them, a spouse, a relative, a fiance, a partner, and they can get up to 6% in gifts. Conventional is a little bit different. It depends on how much down payment they're putting, but a good rule of thumb is 3%. So a conventional loan, you can get 3% seller contribution, and that will cover pretty much everything else, right? So again, we are, and this is why I wanted to do this class about this today, we are still in a market that is considered a buyer's market. You all know what that means. Anybody want to tell me for the camera what that means? What is a buyer's market? A buyer's market is, a buyer's market is usually when there's a lot of inventory. Houses are sitting on the market for a little bit because the rates might be high, maybe not everybody's qualifying, maybe not everybody's buying, new government, things are a little bit shifty, and they're like, so the things are sitting longer in the market. So that gives the buyer the leverage, the tools, the power is the word, to negotiate. And who's representing your buyer? You guys are. So you can go to a seller that the house has been sitting for 200 days, for 150 days. They're desperate, they want to sell, right? Some houses I see for over a year, they've been sitting in the market. It's forgotten. Like nobody even remembers the house already in the market. And you can go to that person and say, hey, I got you, but I want you to give my buyer, 3 to 5% in closing cost. We're buying your house, right? So if that person really needs to sell the house, there's more possibility for your buyer to get a better deal. Not only that, maybe you can get a better deal in cost, in value, and whatnot. So these are tools that you guys have to your advantage. If you put it all together, I promise you that you'll be very successful. My commitment to you is that I will help you through the process. Like I would love to pre-qualify your clients. Take advantage of these programs that are available, because you really can benefit as a realtor, and that's why I put this here. As a realtor who masters all this information, you have an edge above everybody else. I was telling you in the intermission, a lot of people don't know that these programs exist. 90% or 99% of the realtors don't even know that this program exists, right? Loan officers, they probably don't even know that these programs exist either. I mean, unless they're really involved in the market. A lot of people do this business as a hobby, or as a part-time, or as a whatever, as a side gig. That's not your case. You're here. You're here every day. You're getting these classes. You are a professional. So by being a professional and learning about these programs, you're going to have an edge. So that's going to make you look better. You're going to have faster closings. You have more prospects to become clients. So they're not only prospects. You are really putting you're putting the urgency to get these clients into a home. So it's going to be your client. That's going to give you more referrals. It's going to increase your income. I did the first class of the year, and I loved that class because it was all about goals. How much money I want to make this year, and we all had like little starry eyes, but really, we're almost in the middle of the year. It's time to review that little goal sheet and get back on it. The perfect timing now because, hey, everybody's hyping about this Hometown Hero. Talk to every client you know. We will try to put them in the program of Hometown Hero. If they don't qualify for that, let's get them in a regular FHA loan, still gonna be good. Let's try to negotiate closing costs for them. Let's get them in a house. Let's get them in a house. Let's get you paid. And then again, you become a reference in your community. Real estate is all about farming. That's a Guillermo class or an Ismael class, but you create your farm, you create your clients. You're going to become a reference in your community. People are going to go like, Karen knows what she's talking about. Jackie knows what she's talking about. Oh, Ruth knows what she's talking about. She put me in this program, and she's amazing, and she has a team of people which you have at your disposal to use, which you need to use, right? So you offer a more valuable service. And how can you benefit? Who asked me for the list of, there you go. So there you go. I can pretty much create a flyer for you guys. I'm busy, I'm not an artist, but I try to use my resources. I can do a Canva for you guys. I've done open house Canvas for you guys. We can do this, just put it out there. How much easier it is when you have a property that you need to sell, that you need to do an open house, that you promote it. Buy this $350,000 house with only $2,000 out of pocket. What? Wait, what? I can all of a sudden afford a house? I'm going to that house. I'm going to get that, right? So let's get it, the professional's loan. And then again, we can do this for everything. And it's customized to you guys. Yes, I'm going to be there because I want to help the clients. But, you're going to be there. Your contact information is going to be there. I'm not a realtor. I'm not interested in being a realtor. You guys are crazy. That's on you. But I can help you with getting your clients into the home, and we can do that. We're doing an event now with Jackie. We've done, I'm always available. I'm still a little bit out of it because I'm a little bit sick, but then again, I'm still here. I can do a Zoom call with you guys. I can jump on a call. I can do an event. I can do a presentation. You get a doctor's office or a lawyer's office. Get me in there. I'll sell them this program for you. I'll explain this for you. And then again, it's always a numbers game. The more that you're out there, the more that you put yourself out there, the more possibility for you to close the deal. But everything that I've given you today is to make your lives easier, to really make you more effective, to talk to more qualified clients, to work on your clients that need to be more qualified or be better, and ideally to close more deals. So how many clients can you help with these programs? How many more clients can you really help? Do you think you can create more interest in your listings? I'm asking. Do you know anyone who wants to stop renting and won't buy because they think they need capital, they need a lot of money? That's a super common misconception. And then again, you know how many TikToks, and I'm so bad for TikTok, but we need to get better, or many videos or short, the stories and Instagram. It is still a misconception that people need 20% to buy a house. It's crazy, but it still exists. So how about you do a video about that? You can always use this information. Who are employed, who have decent credit and low debt. If they're not ready, then again, we will prepare them, which is my commitment to you guys. I do not like to turn people down. As an immigrant myself, I do believe in the power of owning your property. And I know that maybe not everybody's ready today, but the idea is to, if they're not qualifying today, to help them qualify tomorrow. So my commitment to you is that if they don't qualify, that we can do a 6, 12 months, 24-month plan, depending on their situation, to help them get there, right? And it's up to you. But then again, the idea of these programs is to get you out the door today, and close more deals before the end of the year. We have these amazing programs are available. Use them, abuse them. You know, you have me, you have other 4 lenders in-house, you have a title company as a coordinator. Guillermo is an amazing resource. He knows everything. He's a library himself. Use us and get more deals closed. Any questions? No? No más? Any questions on YouTube? Nothing? Damn, I'm good. All right, everybody, thank you so much for participating. I'm going to leave you here. Hold on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to leave you here with my information. That's my QR code. My office is inside Partnership, the first office, with a pretty blonde girl in a banner. That was a good filter. But please feel free to come in if I'm there. If not, you can always text me, email me. I am almost always available. And if not, I will always try to answer your questions. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.